Hey, so today I'm going to talk about two dot points. The first one is explain why the concentration of water in cells should be maintained within a narrow range for optimal function. And the second one, explain why the removal of waste is essential for continued metabolic activity. So for this first dot point, we need to the body actually needs to maintain the concentration of water within a narrow range for an optimal function. That's what it's saying. And now we need to show the cause and effect. So, cause and effect. Okay, so there's a couple of reasons of why we actually maintain the concentration of water in a narrow range. First off, it's a transport medium. So basically, it has dissolved minerals, vitamins, and as well as that has gases. So first off, we need to actually maintain the amount of water concentration as it is a transport medium. It allows for dissolved minerals, vitamins, and gases, as well as some waste products which haven't been excreted yet, to be transported in the water. So it's just a transport medium. That's something you need to know. Okay, to add on to this, we can say that we also need water for a medium of chemical reaction. Okay, so basically, metabolic reactions only occur in solution, so water needs to be kept constant to maintain metabolic efficiency and basically solute concentration. So let's just do a little diagram thingy. Okay, so need to be kept constant. As it allows for metabolic reactions. Okay, now just adding on, after all this, just adding on for one more thing. It also needs to be kept constant as it maintains osmotic balance in cells. Okay, so what I mean by this is basically it prevents high pressure and cells from bursting. So if it's kept constant, it prevents high pressure and cells from bursting. So if you really think about it, there's a lot of reasons why it needs to be kept constant. So number one, it needs to be a transport medium. So I'll just label all these. One, transport medium. Secondly, it needs to be used for chemical reactions. And thirdly, it also maintains osmotic balance in cells. And by maintaining this osmotic balance, we can prevent high pressures and the cells from bursting. Some stuff that you may not need to know, but it's just a little bit of something just extra to put on your mind. It is a reactant / product in many reactions. So some examples of this would include digestion of food, hydrolysis, and photosynthesis. Okay. moving on, it is also used to moisten cell membrane to allow for the diffusion of fluids. And lastly, it is used for the thermoregulation of the body and cells. So that's basically it. For the first stop point, all we need to know is that it is a medium of chemical reaction and it needs to be kept constant. So it's a couple of things. So transport medium, so dissolved minerals, right? Dissolved minerals, vitamins, gases, and all that. It's a medium of chemical reaction, therefore needs to be kept constant. It allows for metabolic reactions to occur. Maintains osmotic balance in cells, so it prevents high pressure, and it allows cells not to burst. To finish off, we need to know that reactant slash products is used in reactions. So like water is a reactant slash product used in reactions, and such as digestion of food, hydrolysis, and photosynthesis. Also, it moistens the cell membrane to allow for diffusion of fluids. And lastly, it's also used in thermoregulation. Okay, so continuing on, we can move on to the next dot point. Explain why the removal of waste is essential for continued metabolic activity. Okay, so when metabolic activity happens, so I'm just going to write this out. It usually leads to waste products. Just like any reaction. Now, these waste products are usually something like nitrogenous wastes. So these nitrogenous wastes, right, are very harmful for cells. Now, if these nitrogenous wastes interfere with cells, what actually happens is that cells cannot transport as well. Also, since nitrogenous waste will change the pH of cells, it is likely that they will denature. So I'm just going to do a little cause and effect thing. So nitrogenous waste change pH of cells, and this means that cells may denature or not function optimally. Basically, that's all you really need to know for 3.2. But if you want to expand on it, you could pretty much say that metabolic wastes are the products of metabolic reactions. If they are not removed, their concentration in the cell increases. This inhibits the reactions that produce them, interfering with normal metabolic activity. So just like the other one just like the other dot point where we saw that if there's too much water in a cell, then it might burst. In the same case, where if there's too much waste in the cell, then it's not going to function optimally, just like I've said over here. So that pretty much concludes 3.2, and I hope you learned something. Thank you.